Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. It is New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2020, and I had this idea to do this special reading for each of the zodiac signs for the year of 2021. But it's not just a tarot reading. Last year I did the diving into 2020, and I realized in retrospect that me doing that readings was a sign that 2020 was going to be an unusual year. So hopefully 2021 is better for all of us out there. I have had my Vedic Astrology 2021 horoscope readings for each sign out for a while. If you haven't checked that out and want to take a look at that to see something maybe a little bit more practical every day, check that out. But this reading, and I think I'm going to call them what we need to weave together to create our dreams in 2021. It's going to be titled something like that. I haven't figured it out. And that is because of the two decks I'm going to use. So the first deck, I will pull one card from the Weaver's Oracle. And this is sort of like a deck where we get messages from the ancestors, especially the grandmothers. And what I'm going to do, oh, interesting, I just pulled to the page of Sun. What I'm going to do, so there's two pages for each of the cards. What I'm going to do for this reading is to read her yarn, because these readings are of what yarns do we need to gather up to weave together our dreams for 2021. Sort of like dream weaving, not the Dreamtime dream weaving, but the dream weaving meaning what do we want to create and how are we going to create what we want? Okay. Now, what I'm thinking I will do mid-year in 2021, I haven't decided. We'll see how the year goes. The first half of the year goes, is that in the second half, I will read from the same card for each sign, the braid and the cloth sections. But for this, I'm just going to read the yarn. So one card from the Weaver's Oracle, and then from the Yarn of Mama Shamana deck, which I used last year for the 2020, diving into 2020 readings. I'm going to pull, it's a two-part deck, as you can see, it comes in two parts. These are the backs. There are picture cards, and they're called metaphor cards. And then there are saying cards. I'll just show the back. It's just plain white for that. So it's basically three cards for each sign. And what yarn? It's not going to give you something specific, like you need a new car and you need a new resume or something. You're going to have to take from it what resonates with you. And that's going to give you an important piece for inner work, possibly shadow work, for self-healing, inner healing, for motivation, for inspiration for the year of 2020, so that you can take these yarns that come up for you and weave them into the different aspects of your life to create what you want. So that's my goal with this. We'll see how it turns out. Let me know in the comments how these resonate with you, because this is sort of an experimental reading as well. And people always ask, you can listen to this based on your Western astrology sun sign. You can also listen to your ascendant and moon to get more pieces of yarn, more different colors of yarn, size of yarn to weave together for the year ahead. So this will be fun. This will be interesting. Let me know how it goes. Thank you for being here, and on to the individual readings. Hi, Leo. Welcome to your dream weaving reading for 2021. We're starting here with the Weaver's Oracle, and that was a chunk that flew out, so that's not a popper. Let's do a deeper shuffle for Leo. Okay. Leo, you get number 51, Solitude, the Dissolving Woman. So let me pull up her yarn, and then I'll put the picture on screen while I'm reading so you can look at it. Number 51, Solitude. Okay. The Dissolving Woman. She honors the burden of wounds, her yarn. She had been wandering for a very long time across the bleak moons with the matted woman at her side. She craved solitude, but of course, the matted woman always came too. How endlessly those gray days unfolded, walking with a tenacious matted woman following so close behind, treading on her heels, breathing down her neck, plucking at her shoulders, pressing so near. She hated that hand trembling, jaw clenching creature she had made. She loathed its persistent keening and its droning voice that dulled her senses. She was trapped by the wounds and the weakness of the matted woman, and she despaired of ever being free. She tried to walk, but the matted woman grabbed her legs, and she struggled to drag the heavy weight over the ground. She needed to rest, but the matted woman lay across her body, plucking, clutching, claiming her, suffocating her every breath. She wept, but each sound she made was mirrored back to her face by the matted woman's cruel, pinching mouth that wailed and whined. The dense fibers of the matted woman's body thickened and spread as it slowly fed upon her until her weary spirit was finally defeated. She was caught at last inside a tightly matted web. But those bleak moors had not given up on her. They rolled up their slopes and folded round their summits to create a giant earthy woman, who now strode towards her through the dimsy light, swathed in a cloth of bracken brown. The giant woman did not speak, but unfurled the vast cloak in one sweep of her arms. What rare wonder was this? 1,000 small birds flew from beneath the cloth, larks and sparrows, pipits and snipes. They filled the sky, a blur of wings, a stirring of shrill cries. They surrounded the matted web with swift beaks and tiny claws. She raised her hands in terror, but then released the birds. But then realized the birds were pulling at the edges of the trap, pecking out strands from the tangle, gradually unraveling the matted creature from her back. They were harvesting her threads of sorrow, picking at her pain, carrying all this into the folds of the great cloak, many small brown birds turning in the air again and again. Within that turmoil of birds, she watched amazed as the knotted mass collapsed until the last few fibers had been gathered and the birds returned to roost beneath the bracken cloak. The earthy giant strode away along the skyline. She was left with nothing, no grief, no wounds, no anger. She was an emptied vessel. She breathed in freedom, her body stretched out into relief and gratitude. Dissolved of the burden of her wounds, she could absorb the land and life inside her. She was refilled. The ground felt steady. She belonged to the wide open moors again. Only love was left. Now the pain had been rolled back. Wow, that gave me goosebumps because I'm a Leo. Okay, so now let's do your 2 cards from the yarn of Mama Shamana. So again, there's a picture card, and one did fly out this time, so I'm going with that. Wow. So we have a ship sailing on the sea, and look at the bird. So take from this image what you will, take a screenshot, meditate on it, journal on it. Let's see what phrase comes up with it, what other yarn to help you weave your dreams in 2021. Interesting. Okay, if you are January, you will always be served first. Wow, so interesting. So I'll hold these up together so you can pause and take a screenshot if you want to print it up, meditate on it, journal on it, revisit it, pull your own cards on this. Okay, Leo, that is your yarn for weaving together your dreams in 2021. Thank you for being here. Let me know how this resonates for you in the comments below, and have a wonderful start to the year ahead.